the gates, the portals that connect our world to the other dimension. Since the gates appeared 10 years ago, many inexplicable events have occurred, such as the introduction of awakened beings known as the Hunters. These awakened beings pass through gates and enter into dungeons in order to fight the magical beasts lurking on the other side. Sung Jin-woo, the weakest hunter in human history, embarks upon a dangerous quest within a treacherous dungeon. As the weakest, he doesn't have very much to offer, so in order to compensate for his weakness, he learned to observe, gather data, and wait for his moment to strike. With the aid of his guild, Jin-woo manages to clear the first dungeon. However, deep within the first lies another dungeon, an ominous black void, a herald for the terrors to come. Deep within the second dungeon lies a door, the gateway to hell. As they enter, the cyan-colored flames ignite, lighting up the room so that they may see the place that they'll be spending their last moments in. As they explore the room, they come across an inscription: "Thou shalt worship God. Thou shalt praise God. Thou shalt prove thy faith. Those who fail to obey these commandments shall not be spared." As the door slams shut behind them, nearly everyone trembles in fear. Nearly everyone, except one man. He states that this is the final straw. They can have all the treasure they want, he no longer cares. His patience has run out, but little did he know that his time had ran out too. With one single swing, the statue at the door paints the blue walls red with the blood of that brave man. As everyone screams out in horror at the terrible fate of their comrade, Jin-woo turns around to see that the pupils of the largest statue has moved, its gaze firmly set upon them. As the eyes of the giant begins to light up, Jin-woo quickly turns around, telling everyone to duck for cover. In a flash, a beam of energy shoots out of the eyes of the giant statue, annihilating another member of the guild and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Multiple members are now dead, and on top of that, the captain of the guild has lost an arm. In the aftermath of the attack, Jin-woo speculates that the god that the commandments were referring to earlier is actually that giant statue. Just then, another member of the guild makes an attempt to escape. He states that he's confident in his speed. He powers up and gets ready to dash forwards. As our hero takes off at blinding speeds towards the light at the end of the tunnel, I suppose he was never told to beware of the light, for on the other side of it is death.
Damn, now that's tragic.
Realizing that there's something that he has to be missing, Jin-woo turns to the commandments. Thou shalt worship God. So Jin-woo does just that. He kneels before God. And as they all follow Jin-woo's lead, their lives are spared for the time being. However, as they bow their heads, they notice that God's face begins to distort and bend into a twisted, sinister smile. But just when they thought that the worst was behind them, the statue god stands. And it's in this moment that Jin-woo realizes that there are two commandments that remain incomplete. They must praise God, and one man steps up to do just that. However, his prayers fail on deaf ears as the statue god stumps him out of existence. As one woman screams in terror, and the statue god kills her too. As he runs for his life, one member of the party thinks of his family, his wife, and his kids. They're all at home waiting for him. He can't die in a place like this. He has to live. But as he thought of his family, he accidentally ran towards an armored statue. He wasn't paying attention. His focus was split. And unfortunately for our family man, his body would be split too. One by one, in their panic, the members of the party wander too close to the armored statues, and one by one, they are slaughtered. But just then, Jinwoo notices that some of the statues aren't armored. Some of the statues possess instruments. Jinwoo puts two and two together and tells everyone to run towards the statues with the instruments. As this happens, the statues begin playing music, which protects them from the statue god. As Jinwoo rushes towards the statue, God tries to stomp him out of existence. As a result of the attack, Jinwoo gets turned around and sent directly towards an armored statue. Jinwoo is attacked but manages to get out of the way at the last second. As Jinwoo crawls towards safety, the statue god is lurking ever closer. However, Jinwoo makes it. The statue begins playing its melody, but in the aftermath, it's revealed that Jinwoo has lost a leg. Although they managed to survive God for the time being, the raid wasn't over. As the final boss raises his hand, an altar appears out of the ground. Thou shalt prove thy faith. The last commandment stands incompleted. A sacrifice must be had. Blaming the captain of the guild, Mr. Kim, a member of the party, suggests that he sacrifice himself, that he takes responsibility. And the captain agrees. As he walks over towards the altar, nothing happens. Requiring more information, Jinwoo asks to be carried towards the altar. As everyone steps on the altar, the flame surrounding it ignites. And the main door, the very gates of hell, open. And as this occurs, the armored statues begin approaching our heroes. Realizing that you can stop their approach by merely looking at them, Jinwoo tells everyone to focus their gaze on the enemy. However, one woman in the guild breaks down. She has had enough. As she abandons the group, she runs towards the door and surprisingly makes it out. Upon her successful escape, another member of the guild abandons the group and runs away. Jinwoo tells everyone that if anyone else leaves, they won't have enough eyes to fixate on the enemy and they'll all be slaughtered. However, Mr. Kim is having none of it. He has a family to return to. Mr. Kim weeps, knowing that the decision he's about to make will condemn the remaining group members to death. But he makes the decision nevertheless. Mr. Kim abandons the group. Now following this, it's realized that if one person stays behind, the remaining two can make it out alive. And naturally, our main character, our protagonist, Sun Jinwoo, stays behind. As the stone statues come ever closer to Sun Jinwoo, he despairs, for he has a family too. He has a life and he wants to live as well. He's terrified. He does not want to die. But the armored statues will hear none of it, for they continue to brutally murder Sun Jinwoo. And as he lies there on that altar, bleeding out and dismembered, he wishes that he had a second chance at life. And in his final moments, Sun Jinwoo receives a notification. You have met all of the requirements to complete the secret quest, Courage of the Weak. You have acquired the qualifications to be a player. Will you accept, refuse, and die? But if you accept, well, who the hell knows what might happen?